been for the last year. Now with what happened a couple of weeks ago, what is it like, and what's it like in the city, and what have you heard the last week or so, Mike D?
Well, it's a mess to drive around because they're trying to fix every road in town. But we sort of knew that even before the terrorist attack. So just got to understand where you can pass and where you can't. But other than that, it's pretty normal, to be honest with you. But they're trying to get the streets in line, which that was an adventure too. I mean, you could lose a car in some of those potholes that you were passing through on Poitras or even on Canal. So, but Poitras has been fixed, which is the street right alongside the Superdome. And for the last week or so, the Poitras exit coming off of the interstate is closed because they're repairing the streets almost directly around the Smoothie King Center and also the Dome.
Wow. What are y'all, I mean, you're on every day anyway, and you do all sorts of different, you've got your show on WWL, you do TV, you do Saint stuff, and so on. Are y'all doing anything, I don't know, different, new, or special the week of the Super Bowl being in New Orleans?
Well, they'll have at the Ernest Morial Convention Center is where everything's going to take place. The NFL experience. They will have, I guess they call it Reporters Row. Will all be set up there with people from all over the world that cover the game. Because we've done this before, and it's been quite a few years since they've had it here in New Orleans. But they're going to have everybody there, which is really at the foot of Poitras and Canal. And so you're right there next to the Mississippi River, and that's where a lot of conventions and anything that's set up. I know Drew Brees has his pickleball tournament there. That was the last time I was at the Morial Center, which was sort of late in the summer, but we're going to be broadcasting from there every day, starting the Monday leading up into the week of the Super Bowl.
I got to go to
Mardi Gras, because they have Mardi Gras stuff there now. I'll be there this weekend because I'm riding one of the parades, and the Mardi Gras World deal is the first part of where it's at. So yeah, so they're juggling a lot of different things, not only the Super Bowl but also with Mardi Gras coming up.
New Orleans insider Mike Detillier, WWL Radio TV New Orleans. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. New Orleans getting ready for the Super Bowl. Mike mentioned the terrorist attack a couple of weeks ago, and everybody people from all over the world will come in for the Super Bowl, and they'll do media and parties and everything else. A lot of people will get out of town on Friday and Saturday after being there several days, and then those will stay for the game. The Drew Brees pickleball tournament, has he turned that into a big event, Mike D?
Yeah, it's turned into a really big event. He's got a number of sponsors, and man, I'm at because I live about almost an hour away. I live in about 50 minutes away from the city. And I met up with so many people from the Bayou that were involved in pickleball. I'd have never guessed it, but and they've got a couple courts not far from where I live, and they were there. It's a tournament that starts on a Thursday and ends on a Sunday, and it's continuous of tournament play throughout that 4-day period. And Drew, it was a charity deal. He played John McEnroe. Found out John can still play. So John, even though it's not the same as tennis, you don't want to get in the ring with McEnroe. Drew's competitive, but so is John. So Johnny Mac, man, he sort of wiped the floor with him on a one-on-one deal. Now, when they did the doubles match, Drew was able to win that. His team was able to win it. But, Yeah, because he was confident, because we had talked to him that afternoon. He was like, hey, listen, I'll do about 20, 25 minutes with you. I was like, okay, cool. So he came, and him and I and Aber, we did the show with him. And he was confident, man. He said, I feel pretty good. I can maybe, I got a little bit more experience doing this than John. Well, that wasn't the case. Man, McEnroe, he had him on the go from the opening to the end.
Wow.
And so listen, you don't challenge Johnny Mac. I don't care how old he is. He's pretty good with that stick. And so but it was a fantastic event to see how that has grown and so quickly. And he's he wants to be a big part of it, and he's got a number of different things here, not only the Jimmy John's restaurants, but also he's involved in Walk-Ons, another restaurant in the area. He's got a stretch zone where you can go in to get, kind of stretched out. If you have any ailments, back ailments, hip, you name it. And also like an entertainment center. Man, he bought a huge place where it's a big entertainment center where you can have teenage kids, and I'll go along with. Times I've went, there's more older kids than younger kids. And I'm talking about older kids. I'm talking about people in their 50s and 60s and 70s there than the 20s year old. But interesting stuff. And Drew's become pretty big in a lot of different things in the community.
Okay, Mike, this is phenomenal. Yeah. Mike Detillier talking about Drew Brees' pickleball tournament that has become a big deal, and John McEnroe comes down and they play. I've listened to McEnroe on a couple of podcasts the last few years, Mike D. And you don't want to mess with that hand-eye coordination, even though he is up there in age, and he still plays and works out all the time.
Man, he looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Great physical shape, and Drew plays left-handed now. He basically any athletic skill he does left-handed because with the injury he had to his right shoulder and everything, he really can't hardly pick up his arm above his shoulders. So everything he does is left-handed. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, he's had to learn how to, kind of do it another way, and so. He's got a great story. It's sort of long about how he taught LaDainian Tomlinson how to play golf.
Really?
And, he said, LT never knew how to play golf. And so, they were in San Diego at the same time. And so he said, he got an opportunity to teach him how to play. And he said, I put it into another term when I couldn't swing the golf club right-handed anymore. So he had to sort of learn how to do it the other way. And so, it's a long story about LaDainian, but he did teach him, and he said, hey, he's pretty good today. He said he's a pretty good golfer today.
Oh, that's cool.
He had never hit a ball in his life. Never put a ball on a tee. He thought you hit it right off the, when you tee off, he thought you just hit it right off the ground.
That's great. All right. Mike Detillier, New Orleans Insider, WWL Radio on the Out of Bounds show. Mike, I got to ask you one more question. It's kind of non-sports, but people eat it while they're watching sports. We got in this crazy discussion yesterday about king cake, and we went down a rabbit hole. And I mean, God knows that's all you've ever known. You've lived down there. Well, then we started hitting the Google and figuring out that Rouse's sells well over 500,000 king cakes a year.
That's true. Blew
my damn mind, Mike, because we've got a couple of restaurants up here that do very well. But so you knew that. I mean, obviously, you being down there. I mean, this is a huge part of their business, almost year round. Is that right, Mike D?
No, just during
carnival season.
Just the carnival season.
Okay.
After January 10th, throughout the carnival season, they have king cake, and they have enough. They have a couple, 3 places locally that. No, Rouse's has been selling them. I'm surrounded by Rouse's, and within a probably 10-mile driving distance from me, I have 3 Rouse's markets. So they selling more than king cake. I'll put it to you that way. And so Rouse's is huge in this area from a grocery store standpoint. And Canada's is another place. If you Google that one, I think they sell over 300,000 king cakes a year.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, because I know Vince Canada, who owns it, and he tells me, man, that time of year, he says, we do well in two areas, king cakes and wine. And so, man, they got different places that sell just king cakes and stuff like that. So yeah, you can buy it anywhere. Everybody's got their different preference and how they like to eat it. If it's cream cheese, if it's strawberry filled, some like just the traditional king cake, that's how I grew up. That was really no filling in it, and then they started putting different kinds of filling in it, like cream cheese, like strawberry. Now they got, you name it, they put it in the king cake.
Yeah.
They even got some with boudin in it.
What? With boudin?
Yeah, they got it even with boudin in it. Now, I've only eaten it once, and it'll be the last time I eat it, but I did try it. It was once, and that was it.
Do you, so you've been down, you've lived there your whole life. Do you eat a lot of
my life.
boudin or no?
Yeah, it depends on who's selling it. I got a place that's, Bayou Boucherie, which is maybe, I'm going to say a quarter of a mile from where I live. Man, they make great boudin. It is really, really good. And some places are better than others, just like anything else. But, they sell a lot of it here. At one time, that was more of a Southwest Louisiana sell than what it is today. Growing up, you'd have to travel to like Lafayette, Morgan City, Lake Charles, and that's where they sold a ton of it. But now it's all over South Louisiana. You can stop at any little convenience store and they're selling it.
Unreal. Do you like boiled crawfish?
Like it. I don't love it. I much prefer boiled crabs or boiled shrimp than crawfish, but I don't turn it down, put it to you that way.
Okay.
And I boiled, crawfish, good gracious. I had my grandfather teach me how to boil crawfish. I guess I was in my teens, and I still do it his way. I still do it exactly like he does. Did it those years ago.
Have you talked to Ed Ogeron lately?
Talked to him a week ago today. I was the one who announced we have the Bayou Hall of Fame, Bayou Region Hall of Fame, and he got in this year. You had to be away from the game, retired for a couple years, and so he got in unanimously, and so he was in Miami. And so I called him to tell him about it, and he said, what do I have to do? He's got to show up. The main event will be in June when they get put in, but they had a special ceremony where it gets announced last Tuesday. And he called me over the weekend. He says, I'm coming Tuesday. I'll see you Tuesday. And he brought his three sons. The twins are coaching at Miami of Florida. One coaches the quarterbacks, the other one the receivers. And Tyler coaches at Tulane. He coaches the tight ends.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
Part of so all three sons are coaching, one at Tulane, and the twins coach at Miami of Florida. And he visits a lot of the practices there at Miami of Florida, and he's known Cristobal for a long time.
They played together, right?
So, no, didn't play. He was coaching when Cristobal played.
Oh, that's right. I got that totally wrong because he went to
Miami
Nicholls State after LSU, but Eddie O was down there with Erickson while Cristobal was playing. Is that right, Mike D? Or Jimmy Johnson?
Yeah, actually, Ed went there with Jimmy Johnson.
Got it.
Jimmy hired him, and then he stayed for Erickson. He didn't have an inkling to coach in the NFL ranks, and so he stayed there with Erickson. And then he got into a little bit of a troublesome part of his life, and he got fired after a couple of years because of a fight that he was involved with. And then he went to Nichols for 1 year, and he called me and told me that he was headed to Syracuse and went to coach for Paul Pasqualoli there. And he spent 2 years at Syracuse and froze himself to death. And he said it was the coldest 2 years they had in Syracuse, and like 50 years. And that was enough. He got the call from Paul Hackett saying, hey, listen, we'd like for you to come coach our defensive line at USC. And so he took everybody. He was in an old station wagon, drove cross country.
Unbelievable story. He's got a ton of money. Do you think he's done and he's just going to enjoy life, maybe dabble in the media, or what do you see happening in the next few years with Ed Orgeron?
I would never say never, but it would have to be the exact right spot. If he wanted to come back, he would have. 2 years ago, last summer again, Marcus Freeman went to him about coaching defensive line, recruiting coordinator at Notre Dame. He turned Marcus down. He's had a couple of other people approach him about jobs. He even had a school just recently approach him about possibly being a head coach, and he had no interest in it. So I wouldn't say never, but he's like, hey, I'm like you, T-boy, that waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, that's for the birds now. Because Ed would wake up 4 o'clock in the morning, start recruiting, then, head to LSU. He was there for 6:30 in the morning, and then, work till 8:30 at night. So, it's a long period of time. He got paid a lot of money, but, man, you put in a lot of time. You're away from your family quite a bit. And so I'm just guessing that is in his blood. And one day the right situation might happen that he comes back. But he is enjoying life, living in a condo out in South Beach, Florida. And so he's
nice.
He lives with, the sons stay with him, and he got married in, I think, a little over a year ago. So, yeah, it's all good for Ed right now. And I've always told him he'd be great in the media because, man, he was on with us. We would have paid anything to have him, be a regular.
Sure.
And he turned that down. He said, no, I'm not. He said, I'm not going to do it. But he was great. He was opinionated about a lot of different things. And I love somebody that when they're on the show with me, they give me an opinion.
Right.
Right or wrong. Give me an opinion. None of this walk the line on both sides. Give it to me like you think. You're not going to always be right, but nobody expects you're going to always be right. But, man, that was one thing with Ed. I never had to tell him that. I mean, he was going to give it to you, like it or don't like it. He was going to give you his opinion about a certain subject and about a player and how contests would work. He's terrible picking games. I know that. Like I tell him, I don't want him. Yeah, I don't know who was worse, him or Bobby, but I think it was him.
I love it.
About picking games. But, yeah, it's I think, and you do that for as long as he did. He started doing that as a GA when he left McNeese. No, he started at McNeese, but right after he graduated from Northwestern State, he started as a GA and went to McNeese and kind of bounced around from Arkansas to Miami or Florida to, Syracuse and USC, and, Ole Miss, Tennessee, LSU. So, yeah, he's made the gambit. And the one thing with him, and I think a lot of times coaches don't like to do it, is the ability to move. You almost like you're in the military.
Yeah.
You might be here 1 year or 2 years, and then you got to go somewhere else. And he never that wasn't an issue for Ed. It really wasn't. I think he always felt that maybe one day he would get that opportunity, and not only got one, but he got two. Head coach at Ole Miss, head coach at LSU.
Right.
Opportunity, two different places.
That's right. Knocked down a national championship. Unbelievable. All right, Mike D, have a super week, my man, and enjoy the NFL playoffs and We'll get back into it next week with the Saints and Cowboys and everybody else looking for
Lord.
coaches, man.
Man, that's just the world we live in. And we've had Andrew Brandt, who was former executive in the NFL
Fantastic.
for many, many years. And I know Andrew really well. And he was like, Mike, you're going to like this offseason. He said it's going to be more eventful than during the season for the Saints as far as that. And he's right about that. I think this offseason, with so many changes, so many things happening, and with a new head coach with the Saints and staff, and how they're going to try to rearrange things with the salary cap is really going to be sort of intriguing. And the Mike McCarthy situation now is going to be something to watch for Saints fans. But, he was here before, under Jim Haslett, and so he's got a connection with Mickey Loomis and Randy Mueller, who is a consultant with the Saints today.
Yeah, so McCarthy to the Bears or the Saints or neither. I
think it'll be either one. It'll be one of the two that he'll get his opportunity to coach again. And if you look at his record and Sean Payton's record, it is eerily close.
Wow.
They almost mirror images of one another and what they accomplished and sort of win-loss in that time frame.
Mike D, have a super week. Thank you, my man.
Thank you, brother.
Mike Detillier, at Mike Detillier on Twitter. That was awesome. New Orleans Insider, WWL Radio TV New Orleans, brought to you by Sound and Communications. Your next video wall for your hospital, your high school, your university, your casino, your business, lobby, law, CPA, powered by Sound and Communications. SoundComAV.com. Mississippi company for the last, 6 decades? Awesome Mississippi company.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
All systems go.
Live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the Bank Plus studio.
This is Sound Warning.
Live in the studio. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds. Streaming live worldwide on the Out of Bounds radio app. And on your radio at ESPN 105.9.
All set? Let's go.
The Zone.
Good morning. Welcome in. Out of Bounds, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Mississippi State at Auburn. Ole Miss at Bama. Johnny Broome not playing, 18 points a game, almost 11 boards, and almost 3 blocks per game. One of the best players in college basketball. His numbers are crazy. Even over 3 assists a game. How about that? So, double-double, points and rebounds, over 3 assists a game, and almost 3 blocks. It's a good opportunity for Mississippi State. Auburn's deep and still awesome. But you have a hell of a team, too. So, we'll see. We will see what shakes out tonight. And then Ole Miss going to – they're more of an underdog. Auburn's number 1 in the net rankings. Number 1 in the net rankings. They're 7-1 in quad 1 games, the Auburn Tigers. Number 1. Duke's number 2. Tennessee, even with that loss, that thumping, they took their number 4. Florida 5. Ole Miss is playing Bama. Bama's 7 in the net rankings. Mississippi State 17th. Ole Miss is 22nd. So there we go. On the road. Both teams playing in Alabama tonight. One in Tuscaloosa and one in on the Plains at Auburn. Both play at the same time, too. That's a 6 o'clock tip. We are the Out of Bounds Show. We're brought to you by Eye Care Professionals. If you need cataract surgery, call Eye Care Professionals and Dr. Kirk Jeffries with 2 locations on Lakeland Drive. Eye Care Professionals, cataract surgery, 2 locations on Lakeland Drive. This is 105.9 The Zone ESPN. The Mac Hike Auto Group text line is 601-885-3776. We're on Twitter X at Bo Bounds. And then the Key City Beer caller line is 601-707-3750. Bo Bounds, Jackson Meadows. Straight Funk, what was your total? So you've been working a little bit. How many steps did you get in yesterday?
About 17,200.
You did 17,200 steps yesterday. Do you think that's the most you've ever done?
No.
Last week you did 22?
Yeah, I did 22, almost 23.
Do you think that's the most you've ever done?
It's between that and working the CMAs. Because I worked the Country Music Awards one time.
In Nashville or Austin?
In Austin.
Okay.
Whenever they had just opened up their new little arena.
Yeah.
Oh, I have been in in a college basketball arena.
So you've been in
Texas,
UT Austin?
Yeah. Man, that place is wild.
I bet it's nice.
That place
is it like
so nice.
NBA arena?
It is. It's very much so like that. Got a Moet Chandon lounge. Of course.
Oh, man.
McConaughey City Fun Center.
You're a big champagne aficionado, aren't you?
Why not, man? I don't know. Might as well be an aficionado of that.
Okay. Did you drink any?
Did not. They weren't serving it yet. It wasn't. It was literally like the first thing they'd ever done in that place. was post. It was right after COVID too.
Okay.
I was running
you were
COVID too.
You were helping set up.
I was. Well, yeah, I was.
Or what were?
I was running. I was taking all the COVID. I was taking all the artists' temperatures for COVID tests.
Good grief! Are you serious?
So like Carrie Underwood.
That's where you met Carrie
That's where I
Underwood.
met her. So I had to hit her in the forehead with a little gun.
Yeah, because those things were accurate.
Those things were so accurate,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Yeah. Him, Dirk Bentley, yeah.
Okay.
The Zach Brown guy.
Zach Brown.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tatted up.
Is he?
Tatted.
Zach is?
Didn't see a single inch of white on him.
Really?
He is
I didn't know he had that many tattoos.
that many. Large band.
Is he a big dude? He looks like a big dude.
He's a big dude. Yeah, I mean, there's like 30-something people in that band.
He's
as
kind of
well.
grizzly bearish.
He is very grizzly-ish.
Hell of a artist.
Yeah.
I think Zach
Yeah.
Brown is.
Got to watch it. It was good. It was,
Yeah.
wasn't Carrie.
Well, Carrie's talented and gorgeous,
Yeah,
right?
man.
You said she's one of the prettiest women you've ever seen.
Ever seen. She floated.
Okay.
She floated. It was
Were you kind of in awe?
Now,
Were you
well,
awestruck
I
with
was
her around?
a little bit because then they got to walk her to her room type deal.
Like her
little
like her
dressing
green room
Yeah.
in the arena?
Right. In the hidden passages down there.
Okay.
It was. I mean, it was a really cool place to be.
I'm sure it was.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, and then you get to walk all the cool. Majority of them were nice people.
Was she?
She was after she got off the bus finally, because I mean, just the way COVID had everything. We had certain. We only allowed a certain amount of people in one spot at one time.
Oh God.
So she was. She was not very fond of having to wait for a few minutes.
Right.
But she was.
Stars like that don't have to wait.
No.
Okay.
She was okay. Dirk Bentley wasn't the.
He wasn't the nicest?
Nah. Shouldn't have been able to perform.
Really?
But that's an iHeart thing, and I'll bail out of that. Yeah. They made an executive decision to let him perform.
There were plenty of executive decisions
Right.
made during COVID.
You got to make them. And, it wasn't, they had just gotten back from the Caribbeans, I believe, him and his family.
Oh.
So one of them may or may not have had COVID.
He may have had the vid.
Someone may have.
Yeah. Okay.
Someone. So
All right.
they were very.
So you were in Austin for how long?
A week?
All right.
Yeah, a week. Not surprised my mother. That's right.
Was it just the one night of the CMAs, or was it more than one night?
Oh, the whole shebang.
Like all week?
Yeah.
Kind of like the Grammys.
Right.
We only watch it on Sunday, but
That's
they're
right.
doing stuff all. When I've been out to Los Angeles for the Grammys, they're doing things all week.
Getting everything set up.
Yeah.
It
And they're
was-
performing around town.
Right. Oh,
Just
Austin was
not
jumping.
on the TV show on Sunday.
Right.
Only so many people can do that.
Dang, I forgot about that place. It was cool. Now I was probably putting about 25,000 in a day there.
Damn.
Yeah, it was a lot. A lot of walking.
20. So you were almost
money.
at my Disney level,
Almost.
Disney World level.
Like $2,500 in 3 days.
That's awesome.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, I'd do that over and over and over again.
Well, I'm surprised you haven't.
Well, the need for the company kind of dissipated after the.
Okay, yeah.
I mean,
After-
now if round 2 comes through, I'm hopping back on the circuit.
Gotcha.
My name's
gotcha,
already
gotcha.
etched in. I'm good. They've
Okay,
stalled
yeah,
me.
no, I got it now. It was a demand because of I got it. Okay, yeah. So the company came in, charged an insane amount of money. Yeah,
An insane amount
Right.
of money.
right.
And put like 15 of us up in a nice hotel.
Oh, so it was the whole thing.
Oh, red carpet.
Did you eat like? Did you?
Like a king.
Did you charge?
Oh, I mean, well,
did
they,
you
we
charge good champagne to the?
They had us good meal tickets and drink vouchers and whatnot, so we were able to eat and drink on the house.
You're drinking good stuff.
I mean,
That's awesome.
It was-
So you were kind of living. I mean, you were working, but you were also
I was working,
living the high life.
living the high life and working. Yes,
Okay,
I mean the Miller High Life.
not the Moet.
Nah,
Should have called up room service and
I should have.
and ordered some Dom.
We stayed at a real cool place, the Roxy.
Little
That's
Grand Marnier Louis.
what- We stayed at the Roxy.
You stayed at the Roxy.
Yeah.
Was it cool?
It was very cool.
Were the artists staying there?
No,
Okay.
I don't know where they stayed at. Probably somewhere in Lake Travis or something.
That far away?
Nah, what was that, 30, 45?
Why? When you can stay downtown?
That's a good point. What's going on down there? Well, COVID.
That's a blue city, so they probably went nuts.
So much was shut down.
Like New Orleans. Yeah, I get it. All right, the Mac Hike Auto Group text line 601-885-3776. We are the Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone ESPN. Back in just a second. Oh, I got to talk about something. All right, here we go. All right, lunch today brought to you by Martin's in Livingston. Woo! Amazing appetizers, blue plates, the po' boys, the red fish sandwich, burgers, and more at Martin's in Livingston. Also, it's a great place to watch the games. Awesome. They renovated it. It looks, beautiful restaurant and bar. Martin's Market is open every morning with fresh breakfast sandwiches and milk and everything else that you need, and gas. So you got Martin's Market, and you have Martin's in Livingston, and you have blue plates and amazing sandwiches and the appetizers and all the good stuff. Great selection of beer. They have Key City beer on tap and Mango Cart. And Elijah Craig small batch, and Tito, they're rolling. So Martin's downtown, which does an amazing job in Martin's in Livingston. Game day tonight. You can go grab dinner. They'll have both games on. Mississippi State at Auburn and Ole Miss at Alabama. Johnny Broome is not playing for Auburn. 18 points, almost 11 boards, 3 assists, almost 3 blocks, one of the best players in America. College basketball would already be when I was growing up, he'd be in the NBA. But the NBA, is different now. I listened to a podcast, maybe 2 years ago, and Mark Cuban said, we don't have the same players on our roster as we did in 2002. We could have 4 players on our roster back then that were just, rebounders and defense and guys like, Horace Grant, Rick Mahorn. Not Rod. I don't want to say Rodman because Rodman's one of the greatest players to ever play the game and a Hall of Famer, but you kind of know what I'm talking about there. He wasn't a shooter. And he said, now everybody on the team has to shoot. You have to be able to shoot. We've run the numbers. Here's the deal on 3-point shooting and so on. And so Johnny Broome can make whatever he's making, $800,000 to $1 million at Auburn. And his earning power is better than taking a shot at the NBA, not getting there and being in the G League for, I don't know what that is, $50K or whatever it is in Las Vegas. So he's like, hey, I don't have to be a math major, but this works. I'll make $1 million at Auburn, and then I'll see what I can do. Right? That's the deal.
40 grand a year.
So 40 grand. G League is seasonal. So let's remember that.
Oh yeah. That's a good point.
You've got 7 months out of the year to do other things, but look, it's the NBA. I take that back. They want you training all the time. So I really don't know how that looks. It could be even a bigger commitment than 5 months. But bottom line is a Broome at Auburn would have been, when I was growing up and I was watching Bernard King and Charles Barkley, who was my favorite player for a long time, and some of these guys that were bangers and rebounders and defenders and couldn't really shoot, or no, they couldn't shoot. Period. Hell, some of the guards at that time couldn't shoot, because those that could, you forget, like Magic couldn't shoot, but he was 6'9", unbelievable with the basketball. Couldn't guard him, and when he got going, running that Los Angeles Lakers Pat Riley, fast break up tempo offense. I mean, who's going to stop him? Because he's going to hand it off to Kareem or Worthy or Cooper or whoever was there. Obviously Larry could shoot. There were some others, but it was really a mid-range game with Jeff Malone, Alex English, Adrian Dantley, Bernard King, which is what, I love all those players. But Broome's going to make a ton of dough, and good for him, and I hope he kicks a little bit back. And, I don't know what his future holds at the next level, but I know you're a great player when you're averaging a double-double, almost 3 blocks a game and 3 assists. He won't play tonight. His ankle went sideways on Saturday. It was awful. I can't watch that stuff. So once I saw it once, I was good. You got your butt. Every now and then you run into somebody who thinks that you need to see something on their phone like that. I'm like, do you have any understanding the room self-awareness? Evidently not. But anyway, Broom is a great player at 6'10", almost 250 pounds. He will not play tonight. Does it give you a chance? Yes. Do you still have to play really well? Hubbard's, going to have to play really well. He's not playing near as the internet warriors don't understand everything that is going on. Hubbard's played some good basketball the last couple of weeks. Is he hitting everything that he throws up? No. Neither does Steph Curry. He's also had to take the lion's share of point guard, which was not the plan because Clary is not playing, the Penn State transfer. I understand that Jans is running sets with Cam, and when Kugel is able to play, he's running, sets with him from the point, which I think is great. But everybody's going to have to play well. Melendez, you're really going to need Keyshawn Murphy to get going. And Cam Matthews was unbelievable the other night. And so there you go. Another story is this whole Deion Sanders, Jerry Jones nonsense in Dallas. And if there's ever two guys that want their name in the news and to be talked about, it's Jerry Jones and Deion Sanders. I think it would be an absolute and total disaster. Jerry doesn't pay out coaches. I hope everybody realizes this. Even though he's worth $17 to $20 billion, they came out with it, I guess, on Forbes or something yesterday at $17 billion. I've been saying for years he's worth well north of $15 billion. How much of that is liquid and how much of that is his companies, who knows and who cares. But the bottom line is, and obviously the Cowboys, he could get well north of $10 billion from somebody in the Middle East or some tech guy that wanted to get in the game, but they're never going to sell it, nor should they. But when, it's an $8 million buyout to go get Deion Sanders. And this whole Deion and Shador thing, and we have no idea what Shador will be in the NFL. And then here's the cold, hard reality. Dak Prescott has a no-trade clause. He can do what he holds the cards with Jerry. Now, would I like for Dak to go to a team that has a full-time general manager and that's serious about winning football games, not just about making money by owning an NFL team? Yes. But I do understand why Dak re-upped. And, he likes being there. He's from North Louisiana. I think he still has a farm, big chunk of land over there. And he likes that area and so on. So we'll see. I think Jackson and I have been watching the NFL Network and ESPN this morning. Every major show is leading with the Cowboys. We've got teams left in the NFL playoffs, and they're talking because Jerry Jones said, as one Dallas Cowboy insider said, Jerry wanted to get in the news for about 48 hours to 72 hours this week. So he says, hey, I need to leak that Deion and I discussed coaching for the Cowboys. Mike McCarthy finally told them, I'm out. They didn't want to offer him a multi-year deal. They didn't pay McCarthy out. His contract expired. Jerry doesn't do that. He didn't pay Jason Garrett out. His contract expired. Dallas had a chance to do this last week. Talked to Mike Vrabel, Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, Kellen Moore, among others. No, they waited until yesterday, so they don't get to talk to anybody that's still in the playoffs until their team is out, because that's how they run the football side of the Dallas Cowboys. That's brought to you by the Shrimp Po' Boy and Blue Plates at Martin's in Livingston and Martin's downtown.